Hello, hello, hello! Welcome on in, everybody. It's your Frogman here, King Pepe the Second, bringing you the latest on Brown Dust 2 and this Halloween, all the way through December. So we're gonna take a look at the latest live stream that has just wrapped up not too long ago. I took a look at it already. I'm gonna make this really quickly. Well, not too quick, but I basically, for me at least, I timestamped, you know, what to show you guys, what the highlights of the live stream was, just so the video isn't too long for anybody in case you're watching this out there. So before we get things started, check me out on my socials. If you're new here, I always got you covered with the latest of Brown Dust 2 news, and check me out on my Twitch channel. I always stream Brown Dust 2. So with that being said, let's get it started. And also, I'll have the code or the coupon code for the live stream in the description below as well with my socials. So let's get started. Okay, so big news, obviously, leading into the 2.5 anniversary. That's going to be in December now, right? So we're going to get started with the Halloween events. I was actually really excited about this one because the thing is, it does take us back to a certain story pack, not story pack, but a character pack, right? Ruse Labyrinth. My gosh, I almost mispronounced her name. Excuse me for that. But yeah, it takes us back to Ruse Labyrinth, and let's get it. So here it is. It's called Halloween Night. Obviously, Sonya we have here now getting a second, reveal, and we'll scroll down and get to it as well. But Sonya, we have Rue here, and then we have the lovely and voluptuous Granhildr, and obviously you see my PNG is based off of her. Gorgeous outfit, by the way, and not to mention, I'll show you later the skill animation as well. But yeah, so we have Halloween Nights, and I'll just read what it says here. So the new season event, Halloween Night, is here. This year, we've gone for a truly classic Halloween atmosphere. In the fairy tale village, a joyful pumpkin festival filled with laughter and song begins. A young girl named Sonya arrives, sent by her parents to sell pumpkins, but what she really hopes for is to make a new friend. However, her inner friend Tanya grows jealous and begins to interfere. Will Sonya and her friends be able to stop the ghostly Tanya and restore fairy tale village to everyone so everyone can dance together again? Halloween Night features a charming story of Sonya and Rue and their adorable Halloween costumes. We hope you'll look forward to Halloween Night. So we have Sonya, and as you guessed too, Sonya is the new costume lineup as well. So there she is. We have Sonya, right? This is a little some screenshots here. We have the lovely Grunhilder here. She's gonna make an appearance, and then we have everybody together here. So I know that you can't see it all, but we have Sonya, Rue, Glacia, and I think this is supposed to be Ventana. I could be mistaken though. But this is also Grunhilder. We can see her back here. And I believe this is Zenith. I'm trying to remember from the live stream, but I believe, yeah. I think they're actually all included, in fact. What am I saying? They're all included here. Yeah, I believe this is Ventana's Snow White dress, and then this is Zenith in the background. But yeah, so this is it. So Little Pumpkin Girl Sonya, this is her design. And I'll showcase a little of her as well with the live stream. But yeah, so there's Sonya, her new Halloween costume. So Little Pumpkin Girl Sonya is a young girl who grew up on a pumpkin farm at the edge of Fairy Tale Village. And so at this festival, Sonya dreams of making new friends. So this version of Sonya introduces a unique combat concept. She inflicts a debuff called Nightmare on her enemies, and those afflicted take additional damage each time they're attacked. So it's sounding like a form of vulnerability, much like her, her debut costume that happened last month. That applies vulnerability, and then in certain cases with chain stacking, it does extra damage with dark elemental damage. And then let's see. So Sonya also gains a new ability skill called Assemble, making her the second character after Raphethia to use this skill. So yes, there is talk about that in the live stream as well. And so yeah, she'll be able to collect basically glutees on the field, just like Raphethia does when you use her skill in the maps. So yeah, she'll be the second one added. Here we have Boo Ghost Grunhilder. Here is her design. You can see it closely as well here. Very excellent design, by the way, and we'll check it out very soon, in fact, with the skill cutscene. So Boo Ghost Grunhilder is a mischievous spirit who suddenly appears in Fairy Tale Village. However, people rarely get scared because of her blank expression, so she often ends up looking adorably sulky instead. In battle, she deals direct attacks that scale with the amount of energy guard she currently holds, inflicting extra damage on her foes. So, I don't know. It kind of sounds like she's more of a DPS unit more than anything now, with this one at least, right? So it's gonna scale though with her energy guard. So basically, I think it's like the barrier, in other words. So much like her idle one, right? But she does taunt there instead. But she also has a barrier. So it's gonna be based off of that energy guard, and then inflicting extra damage on her foes. So it's gonna be interesting to see her. So in case you guys haven't built your Granhildr up, now's your chance to do this. You know what's funny about this too? I was actually grinding for the quick hunts on the game for light crystals. So how fortuitous, right? So here we have the skill cutscenes to show this. So this is one of them. This is the one for Sonya, and this is Tanya. So they gave Tanya basically a more not as intimidating presence slash shadow aura as she does on her her first costume, right, in the main game. This one was more along the side of like supposed to be a cute, adorable one, which if you understand from a lot of the character packs, it's not technically a serious stories when they have with those. They're supposed to be more fun, comedic. So it makes sense that they did this. And I really do agree with the direction they went with this one, especially with Sonya. And I can showcase the one with Sonya's skill really quickly. Um, and let me bring it up. Actually, you know what? I'll showcase Grunhildr's because I actually have it up first, and then I'll showcase Sonya's. Okay. And then this is a screenshot of Grunhildr's, and yes, it is a bit more spicy. You know, when you really take a good look at it, right? So, and you know what? We'll check it out right now. In fact, I have it brought up here. So yes, I know instantly. I'm gonna shut up, enjoy the cutscene, okay, and then we'll discuss. So yes, obviously they were going for something. Well, Gami and his team were going for something a little bit more bolder, right? And you can clearly see the outlinings here very well and distinct, mind you. Okay, that backdrop with the light was an excellent touch to this. I have to say that. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this would agree with that. It was a nice touch for Grunhilder. And yeah, you do see those curves. You see the lines even with her thighs, right? You see them all. Everything is revealed with Grunhilde here. I gotta say, like I said, I love the design. I love the fact that she's gonna be having a new costume, in fact, because it's been a long time since we've seen Grunhilde have one, right? So I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to her new costume drop. And this is going to be on October 23rd. So actually when Darian's ends, when her banner ends, along with the rerun collaborations that they have with Eris and Roxy. So I'm saving up for Grunhildr's, definitely. Because I actually wasn't pulling for Eris or Roxy until I saw what they had for the live stream planned. So I'm glad I did. Okay. I'm not saying that Eris and Roxy are bad. I'm just saying, like, I'm more for, a more mature themed when it comes to me, with designs. So here we have it, right? But yeah, so Grunhilder, and just take it in. Obviously, you can see everything, right? I don't gotta say it. Beautiful design, incredible. Gami, you're still the best with your dev team over here. Keep rocking it, man. Keep rocking it. So here's a taste of Grunhilder's, and Sonya's was, let's see. Oh yeah, and here's the bigger view of it, you could say. This is gonna be Sonya. So if we take a look at Sonya's, by the way, so I'm just gonna mute the audio just so you guys can just look at the Sonya one. Just look at the jellyfish here, though. Well, technically, it's not a jellyfish, but it's supposed to be jelly. That's how Tanya appears. Instead of her becoming a shadow, right? Like her first one, like I said before. This is like I said, it's supposed to be a cute, adorable look, and they really did nail this one. You can see it play out here, right? There it is. It's supposed to be adorable. I think they nailed it. I think they actually got they got the theme of it. And then obviously we have Granhildr here. We all saw hers here, right? This is gonna be Sonia's. In case you guys want to check this out, this is Sonia's. Here we go. Sorry, Granhildr, but let's see. So this is gonna be Sonia's skill cutscene. Hold on, I didn't play it out. Um, God, I love Granhildr, man. She went from like a Valkyrie to an idol to now being a ghost. Okay, so this is Sonia's. In case you're interested in seeing it. Not for me, but you know, it's still adorable though with her sister Tanya. But Grunhilder's was my favorite though. I gotta admit that was okay. So the bubble thing that Tanya did to Sonya was actually adorable. I'll give them that. That was cute to do. But yeah, so this is gonna be her skill cutscene, right? And then we have Grunhilder's. Okay, so there you guys go. There's the latest. And now we're going to move on to more of the dev notes here. Because I'm going to just do this in order. Mind you, like I said, I did timestamp a lot of these for like what to view here in the live stream. So let's see here. Pickup info. So here's the pickup information. So October 2nd through October 23rd is Darian's, as she's still going on currently right now. So there's 6 more days you have left to make your decision on her. Honestly, guys, I would highly recommend going for her. She is very, very strong, right? And also, she is gonna have more costumes. I can guarantee you that. She'll definitely have more costumes in the future. You know, they already made an announcement with even Blade now, her own Sin one, the one that a lot of us have been looking forward to. You know, especially me because I've loved Blade since the start of like Story Pack 4 in the main game, right when she was introduced. So like her own Sin one is gonna be eventually now added. We don't know yet, right? It could be next year. It could be. I don't know, but they did mention it. They did say something about it. Okay, so if you are a huge Blade lover and fan, I don't even know what I just said, right? I said lumber. If you're a huge Blade lover, okay, like myself, then just wait until her own Sin comes out, okay? Because we have Ventanas and Libertas right now. But anyway, so October 10th through October 23rd, we also have the reruns for the Respected Master Roxy and the Emerging Desire Roxy, as well as Esteemed Adventurer Eris, and then the rerun of your very own Cat Eris costumes for the collaboration that's going on right now. And then codenamed a Rafina, she just debuted. Well, not debuted, sorry. She reran. Excuse my words. She's rerunning from October 16th through October 30th. Okay. And she's excellent for decreasing defense. I think it's 50%, if I'm not mistaken, that she does it by. And then we have the debut. Okay, this is the debut of Boo Ghost Grunhildr on October 23rd through November 6th. And then we are also having a rerun of Neon Savior Angelica, and I'll get into that a little later here in this video because there is a reason for that, and I'm very hyped for that, by the way. On October 30th through November 20th, though, that's when you'll get Little Pumpkin Girl Sonia. So hers is going to be a little bit later, but she'll be there, guys. She'll be there. But yeah, I'm going to be going for Boo Ghost Grunhildr, though, however. And then they are also rerunning Young Lady Blade. Excellent, excellent, excellent physical vulnerability to have, which that she applies on the field to enemies. She also covers a wide area, by the way, when you level up one of her skill points in her skill tree. So she is excellent to have. Okay. So she's gonna be through November 6th through November 20th as well. And then on November 13th through November 27th, we are gonna have the rerun for Pure White Blessing Raphithia. Okay, so she is also a very excellent supporter. Okay, Raphithia is up there with support wise. Okay, so I would highly recommend going for her too. I know there's a lot of things, not a lot of things, but like a lot of releases here or in reruns, right? So I'll be covering it all, by the way, when they do have these reruns. I'll be covering it, telling you guys. But yeah, I would recommend Darian right now, since she is currently still going on. You have 6 days left to go for her, but I would go for her. My recommended, I would say investment wise, would be I would say +1 her, right? And if you don't want to go too far with her, but you still want more power, +3 is basically, I would say, the safest spot then. But yeah, I would just hold on like at +1 because you can get her in the Powdered Hope shop, get an extra plus there. Golden Thread shop resets every single month as well. Okay. But yeah, so there's the agenda for the schedule. And then their exclusive gears are going to be reappearing here. So they follow the same scheduling as, the costumes here. So there they are. Okay. And now we have the new Fiend Hunter. Fiend Hunter boss here is looking actually badass. Not going to lie. They really picked an excellent theme for the Halloween event for Ruse Labyrinth. Because if none of you have seen Ruse Labyrinth or have, like, seen any screenshots, images, or played it, but you're also new, she also does have. I mean, Ruse Labyrinth has a very, like, um, it's a perfect theme. Let me just say that it's a perfect theme. It's the maze area. That's where it fits in. Like when you get to the maze area, you see the darker side of like Ruse Labyrinth there, and it does, like, you can clearly see the background, guys, right? So that's why I say it fits in very well with this, and they did an excellent choice with picking it. But yeah, here's the boss. It looks like, let's see, the Fiend appearing in weeks 1 and 2 will be the Darkness property, Talos. So have your light elementals ready on the fly, guys, okay? Definitely have the light elementals. So Mikaela, she's going to hit like a truck. Angelica, right? Um, who else? Sacred Ustia. Ustia's first costume set as well. Yeah, this I'll cover it too as well. But yeah, there you have it. Okay, so it's gonna be a dark type or dark elemental type. Talos features a unique concept where it continuously applies debuffs, but also grants itself powerful buffs in brief surges. So, gotta keep an eye on that for this fight too. So keep that in mind, guys. Next up is a new fiend appearing in the season event, the Pumpkin Ghost Tanya. So this one in particular, I found very interesting because of the design. You know, very, very, like, unique, right? You see it has the lantern, right, dangling from the vine on its head. Obviously, it has, like, I mean, the face itself is supposed to look like, I would say, what, a masquerade type theme, because you see, like, the eyes themselves have, like, makeup and stuff on it. Like, that's what I mean. It is a very unique boss, I gotta say, and I'm looking forward to fighting this one. So the Ghostly Tanya absorbs Fairy Tale Village's enchanted pumpkin toy, transforming it into a powerful pumpkin ghost fiend. As a light property damage magic type fiend, she features a special mechanic that resets allies' skill cooldowns. So she's gonna be a dark element, not dark, light elemental, and then you have the dark elemental. So I hope you guys have your teams set for this one, okay? So light elemental teams and dark elemental teams are gonna be for these ones. Guild raid boss is going to be the fire property Arc Farlos. So that's why I say pull for Darien, because I really feel she's going to help you out with this one. Okay, Darien is a very, very strong water type. Okay, this version of Arc Farlos targets a single enemy for focus fire, unleashing powerful attacks and dealing fixed damage to its main target. Ooh, that does sound ooh. That sounds rough, doesn't it? It does. I mean, fixed damage. I mean, that's strong, right? That's damn. See, like, fixed damage in the game, guys, it just ignores all defenses, magic resistance. So that is going to be interesting to see. So maybe what you're going to have to do then is you're going to have a taunt type. So somebody with taunts like Leckless, Granhildr, Glacia, her Alice one, right? So yeah, I would then suggest going with that then, if that's the case. I don't know how it's gonna work, if it's gonna target it right off the bat, but I would go with the taunts, you know, definitely then. That's what I would do at least. But we'll see about it when it is released. Now, this is who I said, new Fated Guest, Angelica. So this is why they're rerunning Neon Salvation Angelica. So I am going to showcase it. It is safe to show, by the way, on YouTube. So I'll show it to you guys. And we'll discuss a little bit about it, because the comments that the dev made about it, one of the devs, I was like, really? But yeah, so here she is, the lovely Angelica, making a reappearance ever since her Fire Chip character story pack. You know, it's been a while. It has been a while. I was extremely happy to see Angelica return with this one. So, returning from her appearance in Character Pack 2's NPC quest, Neon Savior Angelica joins us as a new fated guest. Angelica appears as the leader of Arclight, a group of survivors in a world already fallen to ruin. As her members begin leaving for resource rich shelters, Angelica struggles to hold them together. As her request, Master lends a hand to Arclight members, cooking meals for them on site and slowly bridging the distance between them. Angelica, however, has a secret hobby of her own, which is actually it's supposed to reference back to the uh, the one quest you get after you complete Fire Chip. It's supposed to reference what happened with her in that one. Angelica, yeah, so she does actually have one. I'm not gonna say it though, but you'll see. You'll see it in the story. Those who played her NPC quest might already know what it is, so that's what I just said there, right? But see for yourself once again in this new story. So here she is again. God, she's so cute though. I love her. And yeah, this is a screenshot of it, but they did actually showcase it too, and I'll get to it in a little bit here. We'll get to that one later, but let me showcase it now since I can do that. So let me see, where did I timestamp this at? Hold on, I got you guys. Here we go. So let's see if this wants to work with me. Let's make that full screen. Where art thou? Are you? There it is. So here it is. They're gonna demo a little bit of it, right? So enjoy the demo and get your thoughts on it. They're gonna talk while it's going on. By the way, I'll unmute it for here.
To make sure that when it comes to Angelica, characters like Angelica, we have to really focus on the facial expression, so we can really deliver the feeling. So Angelica has a secret hobby. If you played her NPC quest before, you probably know. You will see it again in the story.
Well, actually, this is not on script, but
Is the armpit the point? A highlight?
well, it is kind of. Because you can see like a little bit of a wrinkle here on the armpit side.
There's so much detail.
I mean, there is. for all you armpit lovers out there, okay? Okay, but let's see. So we're gonna hop straight into it. So it'll showcase a little bit here.
So this is not the beginning of the interaction, but this is actually in the middle of the interaction.
Oh, I see.
So this brings back memories from our rookie days, actually. Can't really believe that fans get to spend some just us two time now. Angelica has come so far. Has come a long way.
She really has.
Anymore, you will see.
She really has. About voiceovers for interaction content. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize what they said with this. So basically, when they were discussing this, what happened was they're gonna have Korean voiceover in this, so it's always gonna be you're always gonna have Korean voiceover. They said. As for the JP side of it, they might not be able to get to Sylvia, from my understanding of what they said. So Sylvia and maybe even Angelica, for now, aren't gonna have any JP. But as for the Korean voiceover, they are going to. So just keep that in mind though. If you want to hear it voiced, you're gonna have to switch it over in the menu settings to Korean. Okay. But that's basically what they were saying with this. And yeah, I don't know. That's all I could really say about this. That's basically in summary from what I gathered of what they were saying by that, you know. But I don't mind Korean dubbing. Honestly, I play a lot of games in Korean dubbing, you know. I play Limbus Company, right? That has a lot of Korean dubbing in it. I mean, it's the only language you can pick, but even so, like I play even Snowbreak Containment Zone in Korean dubbing as well. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, guys, okay? So there is going to be voiceover. It's just that with the JP side, they're going to have to find, you know, a VA that fits both. Because I don't think they're going to run with the same VAs as well. So yeah, we're just going to have to like basically take it for what it is at the moment. And if there are any changes, they'll let us know, you know? So yeah. But here is the scene with Angelica.
It's on her forehead, right? I think the master is becoming bold.
I don't know if there's actually a story to this.
He's just doing whatever he wants to do.
I mean, he wasn't really that good at first, but he's now very good. Look at Chongwon, how he touches her.
Her mouth, yes.
And there's actually going to be some voices included this time.
왜 입을 가리는 거야?
Why?
What did she just do?
바람을
Look at her posture. It's so feminine. But she's a nun, right? I think you're
But
harassing
she's
a nun.
not in the story,
이런 거
right?
당겨볼
She's a former nun. Okay. A brief summary of her backstory was, it wasn't exactly fully mentioned, but if you do the quest, she does say something along the lines of she left, that life or something like that. Meaning she doesn't, she no longer, is part of that, the faction or whatever she was referring to. But it was basically her saying that she left that life. And I think that's what it was supposed to incorporate with the quest, the side quest you get once you complete Fire Chip. You have that quest. She mentions it, but it's not really, there's not too in-depth detail about it though, however.
수 있고요.
But anyways, you can do this kind of motion too.
You can pull.
네, 주먹을 쥐네요.
너무 처음에 너무
깃바로
Yeah,
한번
she's holding her fist. Then you can also blow wind to her ears.
Touch her belly.
Oh, she really likes it.
겉으로 살짝.
And then also you can try to lift her
Skirt?
주먹 쳤으니까 혼나요.
skirt or belt, and also her garter belt
살짝. 이렇게.
and stockings.
이게 이렇게 내릴 수 있는데
You can
사실
pull.
So you get the gist, right? You see it. So this is what we're gonna look forward to. I'm very excited. Also, there is another side to this. So she actually goes in her fluorescent side. So this is why I said I'm very, very excited, because they incorporated this into the faded gas interaction now, right?
가서
I don't think that you're interested in the lights.
실컷 눌러놓고
바로 네,
Yeah, you've
넘어-
been
어떻게
having so
여기서
much
어떻게
fun. You've been
넘어가냐면
like touching
이
and
몸의
pulling and
불을
stuff.
다
So
켜야 돼요.
you
다
have
켜져
to,
있지.
and then see
그래서
Nebri's
요 아이콘을 클릭하시면
neon.
이렇게
Click the
바뀌거든요.
neon icon and then see.
그래서 이제 네온에 이제 이렇게 만져보시면 몸에 이제 불들이 들어오긴 하는데
So there are
여기
all the
약간
neon lights.
수수께끼처럼 사실 이제
So you clearly saw that when you touch her in certain areas, and it'll demonstrate it here, that she actually lights up.
다음 모션으로 완전히 다음 모션으로 넘어가는 게 약간
So,
수수께끼처럼 되어 있는데 조금
You have to find out,
난해할 수
figure out
있어가지고
yourself how to move to the next
넘어가는
level.
거는 제가 알려드리도록 하겠습니다. 네. 이
So I'm
수수께끼
going to tell you
알려드려도 그 뒤에 훨씬
how
크게
to move on
있다는
to the
얘기죠.
next level. I mean, I can tell you this because there's
그런데 여기 이제
even
이렇게 터치하면
something even bigger
불일들이 막
after that.
들어오거든요.
So
You see? So
if you touch her body, you can see that the light.
very well done. Like I said, I'm very much looking forward to this. And another thing that they did say, which I was actually very shocked about, was because they said that this faded gas interaction scene is going to be even more spicier. It's going to be way more spicier, actually, in fact. That's what they said, okay? It's going to be basically knocking Sylvia out of first place. And if you haven't seen Sylvia's in the summer one, obviously, don't know about it. But it is very, very spicy, just to say the least. It's very sexy. I gotta say that. It's very sexy. It's very well done. And honestly, I was highly impressed, especially after Wilhelmina's, they went to Sylvia's, right? Wilhelmina and Sylvia are still up there now, guys, okay? But for the devs to say that Angelica's is going to basically be in the #1 spot for players, it says a lot, because, even though you're not currently seeing too much here, like we're playing with her basically right here, right? It's good. It's the stage that happens right after this, they said. Now, obviously, they couldn't show it. They even said it because, yeah, we don't like censorship, right? But yeah, they said they couldn't show it up for YouTube's sake, which I understand. I get the feeling, I know the feeling. But yeah, so I am very piqued with interest as to how they might have done this, because we don't see a lot of like items that we could use for Angelica. So I don't know, maybe if things show afterwards, after when we get to her third stage, you know. But honestly, I am excited. Okay, very hyped. I'll showcase it on my Twitch channel if you want to check me out there as well. But yeah, so that's the interaction scene for Angelica here. So look forward to it. Look forward to it. So what do I have next on my dev notes? The dev notes here. So we discussed her. So voice support policy for character interaction scenes. So yeah, since interaction was first introduced as part of a mature content update during the 1.5-year anniversary. At the time, only Korean voices were recorded and Japanese lines could not be included. Since then, interactions have continued with Korean voices only. However, the recent Bikini Sylvia update was released without any voice lines, which left many players disappointed, as interactions are meant to feel immersive through full voice acting. The dev team also deeply regrets this and has been working on a solution. First of all, new Korean dubbing will be recorded only with voice actors who can also provide interaction lines from now on. Accordingly, the Korean voices for Neon Savior Angelica and Bikini Agent Sylvia will be replaced with new actors. Future costumes for these characters will also feature the new voices, while their existing Korean lines and other content will remain unchanged. This decision was made after carefully considering both those who wish for full interactive voice support and those who value the original performances. We kindly ask for your understanding. Which, like I said, this is what happened with that. You know, with they're gonna have Korean voice dubbing in it. It's just with Sylvia and Angelica, it's gonna be different voices or voiceovers, right? But you still are going to be able to hear the original VAs for the Korean lines, or VAs, you know what I mean, for back then. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So, yeah. Additionally, we are preparing a new system that will allow players to use Japanese voice settings to enjoy interaction content with Korean voice lines instead, because this requires major file reconstructing or restructuring. It won't be included in this update. We sincerely apologize for not being able to support both languages this time, and for any confusion caused by the replacement of certain voice actors. The responsibility lies entirely with us, and we'll do our best to make it up to you with better content going forward. So yeah, there you have it. So that's the news with the VAs and what's going on with that. So as for now, we just have to take it for what it is, and we have to understand that they are doing their best to deliver us these VA lines, because it is true. VAs, when it comes to the interaction scenes, do make up. It makes you feel more immersed, and I get that. I understand that. You know what I mean? But we also have to understand, there might not be VAs that might not want to do certain lines like these. Maybe that was the reason entirely about it. Who knows? But yeah, so you just gotta be patient, right? And so let's go on now to the Tower of Salvation on October 23rd here. So Tower of Salvation update: a new wildcard costume selection system has been added. Previously, all 5 costumes were chosen randomly at the start of a challenge, but now you can choose 4 from the initial random set and personally select the 5th from your entire costume list. However, collaboration and currently featured pickup costumes will only appear if you own them. So yeah, makes sense. So let's see here. So basically, the RNG has always been a thing with the Tower of Salvation. That's what made it, challenging, because you didn't know who was going to come up, right? However, with the 5th lineup, you'll be able to choose them. So you'll be able to actually choose who they are. You know what I mean? So there you go. I think this was a way of making it, I guess, less frustrating for players that wanted to have a build, but if they didn't get, who they wanted in the RNG rolling, then yeah, it would basically make that team kind of obsolete, because especially when you get to floor 10, you actually do need to have a great lineup from the very get-go, okay? Along with even floor 9, you have to have a team build that synchronizes very, very well with each other. So maybe that was the reason. It was because it was frustrating with that, and I can understand that from players' perspectives on it, you know. But you also lose out on like that challenge aspect of like of it being different each time because you didn't know who it was gonna be. But I don't know. What do you guys think about it? I mean, I didn't mind it either way, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, there it is. Next, the 31st floor crystal battle has been added. The 31st floor becomes available after clearing the 30th floor at level 10. So allies take no damage, and the bonus score is based on the damage you deal to the crystal within a set number of turns. Okay, then. So it's like basically after the initial boss. I think this is supposed to be what? Bonus points, I guess? Yeah, bonus points, basically. So that's why the stage looks different. You're fighting this big giant crystal ball. So I guess that makes sense, But there you go. So they added something to the Tower of Salvation. Because you'll need to manage your costumes and relics carefully to maximize your damage against the crystal while clearing the 30th floor. We expect this addition will offer more strategic depth for players aiming for top rankings. For everyone else, it also provides a fun new way to gauge your growth up to the 30th floor. So there you have it. As shown on screen, the damage dealt to the crystal ball will appear next to your ranking score. So this is also for PvP players that, like the ranking systems as well. So there you have it. And then let me see. A new checkbox has also been added to use only the daily free keys during quick battle. Okay. Oh yeah, and then this was a big feature for this because, mind you, this was actually frustrating. So basically, whenever you lost at like, let's say the last boss of the floor, when you lost, you actually had to start over from the very beginning. So if you, let's just say, I don't know, turned away for but a moment and that last, enemy or whatever just instantly just wiped everybody out, right? You weren't able to like have an option to retry. So now they give you an option now where you can do that. So if you lose to the bosses or, to the boss floor, you're now able to retry the floor without having the need to go all the way back to the very beginning, Oh, yeah. This was something I experienced multiple times in my runs where I would get to the very end, right? And then all of a sudden, I would just get one-shotted. And I would be like, I wanted to rage because you don't realize the higher floors, mind you, are very difficult to pass, especially if you don't have the right team builds and artifacts, okay? So it is very challenging, okay? So this is a great feature that they did add here, Okay, the new ID card update here. So I was kind of surprised with the survey how not a lot of people were really into it as much. I'm into it, by the way. Like I love the new ID thing, but they're making some more improvements to it. So first, we improved the overall controls and handling. Rotation and zoom controls have been refined for smoother operation. And let's see, zooming will work the same as before, but a dedicated rotation icon has been added to ensure the two actions no longer overlap. So you can clearly see it here, right? And second, a precision mode has been made to improve handling for overlapping items. When activated, it reduces the trouble, or it reduces the touchable area of items, making it easier to select those placed close together. So yeah, they made it a little bit easier with rotating and previewing, because that's another thing now that they did, So if you look here, where is it here? Yeah, right here. So now you'll be able to preview multiple items at once and purchase them in bulk. So this is actually a nice feature because I always wanted to preview them, but they didn't have that feature. So I was like, oh man. So I had to do it like one by one, right? And before purchasing, obviously. But now you can just do it. It's up to 30 in total, so 30 slots. So basically, you can place whatever you want on your ID, up to 30, stickers or whatever, and then just preview it. And then if you really want it to go for it and you're like, yeah, I want it, then you just buy it. Quick and simple, right? That's basically what they say there. And then until now, card orientation is automatically changed based on your device's position, We received feedback about the inconvenience this caused, so we're adding an option manually set your card's horizontal or vertical orientation. You can now decorate your card in the orientation you prefer, and it'll appear the same way to other players as well. So there you have it with that. So very neat, right? Very, very neat. In the previous ID card update, we also added original stickers obtainable only through specific content. For ranking-based content with particularly high difficulty, we're now adding a fourth, lower-tier sticker to make progression more accessible. This new sticker will be gray. Rewards can be obtained for reaching double S rank in Field Hunter, ranking in the top 5% to 10% in Guild Raid, and reaching Master 1 to Diamond 2 in Mirror Wars. So, more stickers, you know, a little bit easier, I think it's supposed to be, to get these, because there are actually, you know, stickers that you have to unlock. You have to be a certain, like, place in a ranking, which, you know, it does kind of suck, but it is one of those things where it's like an incentive, so to say. Okay, guys. So let's see. Additional updates include a feature to capture only the ID card portion as an image, as well as new feature allowing silhouette mode cards to be converted into publicly shareable versions. Okay, so anybody looking over at your phone there, you know, they have no business peeking at your phone though. But yeah, so in case you're out there, you know, and you want to look at your ID card, right, just to admire it, you know, maybe use it to sign into something. I don't know. I'm being silly. Costumes previously limited to one per card can now be placed in multiples if you own them, up to a maximum of 30. New backgrounds and stickers are also added. New backgrounds can be unlocked for purchase by clearing specific packs or reaching the max affinity levels for Fated Guest, while stickers can be obtainable as achievement rewards. So I can now have, you know, multiple costumes appear. So like you saw here, you see Eclipse here. I can now have like Wilhelmina, Dalvi, Morphia along with her. There was actually an image, in fact, I'm not sure, I think it was in the live stream they showed it. Yeah, it was in the live stream where it actually depicts them. Whoops, that's Alessia's for Honkai Impact 3rd. It actually does depict it though. Where, I gotta find it. I don't know where it would be. Is it here? Oh yeah, here it is. So it's around here. Yeah, right here. So you see the multiple illustrations available. So you see them here. So like the costumes, you see Eclipse, Eustia, Morphia, and Shada. So instead of only having like one costume, right, being on your ID, now you can have multiple ones if you like. So you can have like, it's set up here. This is actually a really nice one, in fact. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this a lot because I love customization. Anybody that loves customization like myself, you're going to enjoy this update a lot. Okay, going back to the minigame Slap Slap Pot rerun on October 23rd. So they did actually, you know, deliver on their promise about this with improving the key binding on it, first off. And they most likely got rid of, because they did, not most likely, they did get rid of that, you know, slide feature with these, with the keys, right? Because that was something they did say that they were going to do. So in case you guys didn't know or even participated with this one, it was basically just to give you an image about it. So on the keyboard especially, it was the Z button and the slash button right next to the right shift. That's basically what you were doing to, you know, slap the girls' butts, right? On each cheek, you know, the left and right one. But it was kind of complicated with the sliding feature because what you had to do with the buttons was you had to basically, just like you would do with on your phone, on mobile devices, it was very easy to do, but on keyboard it was like you had to simultaneously press the keys, like, how would I word it? You got to squeeze the keys together. So it was like Z and X, I believe, were the keys for like the left one to slide, and then the right one was the slash and the period, key here. It was like really weird, right? So they ended up getting rid of that, and we should expect to see that removed now, where it's just, you know, button smashing, so to say. So first we've added a training mode. So that was another thing they added, was a training mode. So where you didn't have to fail, but you could still enjoy it nonetheless. without failing. And then obviously they have the real mode, which is, the plain one right there. Many players told us they found the game challenging, but still wanted to keep slapping those buns. So now you can practice freely without worrying about gaming over. Of course, you can still enjoy the original mode or use training mode purely for fun. However, please note that when playing in training mode, mission clears and rewards won't be applied. So that makes sense, right? It does make sense. Next, we refine the speed adjustment options here. Did you see it here? Previously, only 1x, 2x, and 4x speeds were available. But now you can fine-tune the speed anywhere from 1x to 8x in even 0.5x increments. So very nice feature. So this was the layout before as well. This was before, and then they did this afterwards. We've also slightly reduced the horizontal spacing between notes and adjusted the hits. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. And adjusted the hit judgment area slightly higher on the screen for better visibility. I don't know. What did you guys think about it? For anybody that played this, I mean, what do you think? I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was bad. I was able to pay attention, despite how I had, a voluptuous bun on my screen to look at. I was actually hardcore looking at like where the notes were going to be placed. That's actually what was, fun about it, because like I was also having fun at the same time, playing the game as well as having a fantastic view. But yeah, I didn't see oh yeah, you see the key bindings here, right? Lastly, the D and K keys have been newly added to the PC client, and key labels are now displayed on screen during play. So here you have it. They added like the K and the D one, We've also heard requests for new characters in this mode, but we couldn't include them this time due to scheduling constraints, which I do understand because, this was something big that they were working on, because this is a fun mini game, mind you, and it's also very based. But it was because of that, the keys for the sliding, which made it very, very difficult for PC users, But now they have it, and they'll have. I guarantee you that they'll add the rest of the summer lineup costumes. So like Morphia, Bikini Morphia, Bikini Mikaela. They'll be added, for example. Sylvia's bikini, Rubia's bikini, right? Their costumes, they'll be added. I can guarantee you that. They'll be added. Let's see. So, game start screen updates. I didn't really think too much about this. I mean, I think this was more for maybe newer players when they started the game up. So first, we've added a new game start screen customization feature. In most mobile games, players start from a home screen that connects to other content. In Brown Dust 2, however, the game begins directly in the field before moving to the home screen. To reduce confusion, we're adding an option to start the game directly from the home screen instead. And after the update, new players will start from the home screen by default, while existing players can continue to start from the field just as before. So basically, each time the game started up, so basically if I logged in right now, I would be in the mirror dungeon area, right? In the PvP field. So instead of that, like if I set the option to like not have that, I would just start at the home screen, So I would be started off to see my girl Wilhelmina on my home screen greeting me, right? So that's basically what they're saying with this. And you can toggle it on and off if you like. The quick dismantle added on November 6th here. So you're going to have to wait until like next month for this, but it'll be here before you know it. We're introducing a new quick dismantle feature. Many players asked for a way to directly convert gear materials into refining powder, and we previously recommended using auto dismantle. We realized that improving the lengthy process of enhancing and dismantling gear could significantly reduce unnecessary playtime, so we revisited the idea. Converting each material's expected value into refining powder directly proved difficult, since each material has a different value. Instead, we focused on the most time-consuming step in the process. It was the gear upgrades. So currently, each gear's upgrade success or failure is calculated in real time. Since drastically improving calculation speed in a short time isn't feasible, we've changed the system to skip actual upgrade attempts and use expected success rates instead. So gold is now consumed at a fixed amount based on expected success rates through the new quick dismantle feature. Because actual upgrades are no longer performed, the time from auto upgrades to dismantling has been greatly reduced. Please note that the quick dismantle feature will be added in the November 6th update. So if you're looking to dismantle your gear right now, I would just hold off until November 6th, you know. So just do that. I mean, this feature will be added in no time, okay? But anything I wanted to add about this? I mean, it's pretty straightforward to what it says, you know. But yeah, just hold off until November 6th, really. So don't, you know, recycle your gear or anything like that either. Upgrade. Just wait until the update, and then you'll see the changes made to it. That's what I'm going to do. So, ability skills uses increased on October 23rd. So, I thought this was cute, by the way. So, Tyr is actually going to be getting one, and you see her, like, you know, on all fours. She's stretching to collect everything. I thought that was adorable. And then obviously we have Sonya. I did say she's going to be getting the same skill now as Rafithia does, which is collecting the Gluty, right? However, they did say that they increased. Yeah, it's right here. So the number of uses for Celia and Liberta's absorption and Rafithia's assemble will be increased from a maximum of 5 to 7. So 7 times a day you can do this. So most likely not just Celia also, but also it's going to be Liberta. Oh yeah, it does say it. My bad. Sorry. Celia and Liberta and Rafithia. Excellent for collecting resources, by the way, for Celia and Liberta. If you want to get ahead with resources a little bit more, right? They collected a lot of resources, I find. It adds up over time, guys. Believe me, it does. It's basically like the elixirs in Last Night mode. Every single day you do Last Night mode, which is just auto battling everything, right? And you get a score. A lot of that elixir, even though it might seem like a little bit of an amount, it adds up over time. Believe me, it does. So that's why you always want to do that every single day and just, you know, move on from it then afterwards, right? But yeah, so we have Tyr here. She's looking adorable. So she's also going to have an absorb skill as well. So basically like Celia and Liberta. So instead of 7, you know, instead of a total of like, well, depending on how much you level them up, that is, I have Liberta and Celia leveled up to 5, or not 5, legendary, which is the highest you can get to. So they collect, for at the moment, at least right now at 5, they collect up to 10 times. So now they're going to collect up to 14 times. And then with Tyr, my Tyr is at a level 5. Well, actually not a level 5 for skill-wise, because I have to, obviously, when they add it, I'll level it up. But it actually doesn't take long to do that, mind you. It actually doesn't. You just have to use it every single day. But it gives you a great amount of experience, though, of points for that. So it's not a grind, not like some other ones that you have to do. So when she gets to level 5, you know, for me, she'll be up. I'll be able to absorb up to 21 times, which is a lot, and that's extra free. That's extra free resources for me too, you know. But yeah, and then Sonya, she'll be basically Gluties is gold. That's basically what it is. So sometimes you get like, you know, a moment where you collect a Gluty that gives you extra gold, like 21,000, I believe it was. And sometimes you don't. It's like a 7,000, I think, for each Gluty, something like that. But yeah, this is basically just gold in a nutshell. Okay, story pack 19, guys. So this is it. It's called The Forgotten War, and this actually looks incredible with the details on this. So story pack 19 is basically going to conclude season 3, and then season 4 is going to start chapter or story pack 20. So yeah, so as mentioned previously, this update was originally planned for September, but it was postponed to November to further improve its quality. Story pack 19 serves as a turning point leading into the new world featured in story pack 20, which is going to be season 4. More details will be shared in the next live stream and developer notes. That'll be on November 16th, I think they said, or 17th. We'll have the next live stream about it. So at the same time, story packs 15 through 18 will undergo a renewal update. Will preserve the emotions and overall flow of the original stories while refining certain parts to improve narrative consistency based on previous feedback. So basically, they're going to go back. Now, they're not going to retcon the entire thing. They're just going to most likely add and fill in things that maybe could have done a little bit better with the story. And maybe the situations, too, that they ran into as well. But yeah, so that's basically what they're going to be saying with this. So it's not going to be totally redone, guys, okay? Don't worry about that. They're still going to include everything. It's just, it's probably going to be longer, if anything, if they're going to add more. However, the positive about that, though, is you'll be able to have more fleshed out details in the story or situations that may have seemed a little bit confusing or just kind of like random, and they'll be explained more. So I have great faith that they'll handle this well with this. The Golden Coliseum is going to be on December 4th. So this is the new PvP content previously teased under the keyword "Your Turn, My Turn," and excellent art for this, by the way. I love it. So this is not Liberta. Oh my gosh, this is Levia, and I can tell it's Levia, by the way. Her outfit, as well as the long hair and the red eyes. And then this looks like Greta. So maybe they're actually hinting towards Greta being introduced now in the next update. After the next, I should say, the second update that we'll be getting, down the line from now. So this is Greta. It's got to be Greta because she's the only one that has red hair, has the horns, right? Has the elf ears and the armor. So like, yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. So development underwent major adjustments, extending the timeline, and we apologize for the delay in providing concrete release information. So let me see. So some players have mistaken the phrase "your turn, my turn" to mean real-time PvP, but it'll follow an asynchronous PvP format similar to Mirror Wars. More details will be shared in an upcoming live stream, so we'll have to wait till the live stream for this one. So they really didn't give too many details for this. They kind of just mentioned it and didn't go too much. They just said wait until the next live stream and they'll cover it. So any PvP players, out there that are, love that type of content with this, they got you covered with this now. Okay? Let's see here. Oh yeah, so they wanted to share their views, I think, on the balance policy for new characters and costumes. So basically, this is surrounding like Tyr and Darien because they are extremely strong. They're like one-shotters, basically, you can say, and Tyr especially because of her range and how much she does. So first, I'd like to talk about our balance policy for new characters and costumes. Existing characters achieve balanced performance through multiple costumes, but new characters only have one costume at launch, which makes it harder to put them into battle right away, which is true. If a new character launches with weak combat performance, interest in their next costume may drop, a point we've debated a great deal internally. At the same time, we wanted to avoid setting their cooldowns too low, which would make future costumes feel unnecessary. With this in mind, we aim to make each costume appealing on its own. Since Tyr and Darien are portrayed as powerful even within the story, we applied slightly higher stat values to reflect their strength, which does actually make sense because if you didn't do the story or Reddit's, which was Stigma of Dreams and Starlight Child, we actually got a great look at how strong they are in the story, especially Darien and Greta being two of the seats, right? That's who they're called, by the way. They're called, well, technically they're labeled with numbers, but there's like 12 seats, I believe. And Greta is the 5th, and then Darien is the 7th. And it actually goes by a hierarchy in the story. If you read it, that's how it actually is told, right? Based on their strength. That's why Sonya is leveled. She's the 11th seed. Why she's so low, right? And then Tyr is also specified to be a guardian, right? She's supposed to be a guardian. It even says it in her description. If you look at her and you go to her profile, it does actually tell you a little bit about her. So that's what they were saying with this. They wanted to reflect that based on their main story content. However, because we didn't fully explain this internal policy beforehand, we completely understand the concerns some players have felt, especially after seeing the slightly higher stat values and wondering if this might mark the beginning of power creep. Even if we had shared the policy in advance, we recognize that assigning such high stat values should have been handled with greater care. We plan to continually review and adjust combat balance not only between existing and new costumes, but also between physical and magical types during each half anniversary period. So we apologize, and they'll do their best to keep the combat balance stable. So yeah, I mean, what's your take on that? In all honesty, I mean, there's always going to be some sort of power creeping in some way or form. It's not like you can completely get rid of that. You know what I mean? Um, because even I read like how even Eris and Roxy are no longer like meta, how they used to be back in the day, right? Um, so like that's what I mean. It's like you can have multiple costumes, which does make up for it. Like for example, I always felt Sylvia, in a lot of ways, was not as strong, but then when they added her new bikini, the bikini agent Sylvia, she literally just skyrocketed in strength, you know, because of her skill damage, right, and the range it carried. So like that's what I mean. Having new costumes added to one costume that has never gotten another release, right? It does make up for that. Sacred East, that's probably most likely why we haven't really, heard anything from, like, for example, Sacred Eastia. She stands alone with her because she's just strong in general, you know? She has that one-shotting ability, right? So, like, I don't see her ever getting another costume added to hers because of that. But you never know. It could happen, but I don't think it. I don't think it is. I'm just using it as an example, by the way. Um, so yeah, there's a lot that they can do. I mean, I still feel that Zenith, she could use another costume later down the line as well, because we just recently got another Zenith, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, there's always gonna be power creeping, guys. That's not something that's gonna disappear entirely, you know, unless they buff up like they did earlier, this year, right? With a lot of the other past 5 stars, which they actually did buff up. That's the only thing that they can really do. But yeah. Next, we'd like to share an update regarding the collaboration event. This rerun was made possible on the condition that it would follow the same structure and rules as the original event, which is why the event period has been set to 2 weeks. As a result, the same system that previously made it difficult to obtain SR gear remains in place. So basically, a lot of players wanted to know why there wasn't S gear included to be unlocked in this. Much like how Senran Kagura, you were able to get SR gear, right? Especially for Yomi's, because she was like the free 5 star they gave out. The recent one they did with Goblin Slayer was the same way with Goblin Slayer, in fact. He also had his SR gear. So this was basically something that was discussed about it, but since they couldn't, change the structure as what I just read here in the rules pertaining to the original events, they didn't have much to say with that because it's not up to them. I'm assuming they discussed it with the IP holders with Musha. My gosh, I butchered this name all the time, Mushiko Tensai, but that's most likely the reason why they couldn't do it because you gotta understand that, guys. They have to be on terms with whoever they're working with, okay, with whoever they're collabing with, right? So believe me, if they did come to an agreement where like they could put this into the game, I think then obviously it would have happened. But that's basically. I mean, I don't get it either. I mean, the gear in the game is technically up to the devs, right? But I don't know. I don't know how that technically works, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. um, as a result, the same system that previously made it difficult to obtain SR gear remains in place. We carefully reviewed the possibility of refunding all draw gear currency used during the first collaboration and distributing SR gear for this rerun, but the total refund amount would have been extremely large, and setting clear refund criteria could easily have led to further disputes. So it's not like I think this is more along the lines of collection, guys. But the thing is, if you're not looking at it for as a collection item, you are gear crafted works just as well with this. Okay, you're just missing like it's just like one like character stat basically that's attributed with the gear. That's basically all you're missing. But other than that, UR Gear Crafted is still, in my opinion, still there for you guys to use, you know. But yeah, so that's why you don't have any SR gear included. So let's see here then. I'm just reading what they said here really quickly. Okay, so here's the major update calendar here that they have. So October 23rd is when this all starts, and we'll be getting more feature updates on the latest, especially for Story Pack 19 and Story Pack 20. They'll discuss it, as well as the new PvP content. Pre-registration for the 2.5 anniversary, which is basically what they did last year, which was like this, for example. This was from last year. It still is up, by the way. So this is the pre-registration. So you get, like, I believe, like, you get looks at, you know, everything with what they have to offer. Right? This was I'm just showing you what happened with last year's 1.5. Okay? Gives you like a lot of details, showcases merchandise, things like that. So, and you also get a mini game included, which was the boob one. It was matching, and basically you're supposed to get Eclipse's boobs to appear on the mini game. That was the end game goal of it. You know, I would show you it, but it does show a lot of cleavage, right? So just take my word for it. But yeah, that's basically what they're gonna do with the pre-registration event. So it'll most likely look different, but have like the same, you know, UI and you know, tags in it. So yeah, just pre-register for it. You get rewards for doing that as well. And then it'll last until the 2.5 anniversary update, which is the news here, and winter event pack, which, by the way, they are going to be rerunning Nightmare Winter and Memory's Edge, which is from last year's. So those two event story packs are going to be unlocked permanently now. Okay, they're going to be unlocked permanently after, you know, they introduce the new winter events event pack. Okay, so there you have it. And we're also going to be getting more news on the releases of the Fated Guest that they did promise us back in the June live stream, because they did mention it. You know, we're supposed to be getting at least 3 to 4 new Fated Guests, and that means 3 to 4 interaction scenes, by the way, along with art that comes along with it, right? So look forward to that. And also, they did say and mention that they were going to do a limited costume. I wasn't too sure about that, or if that's what it translated to with the translators, because the thing is, they didn't I mean, they weren't going to do any more limited costumes. That was the thing about that. Unless they're referring to the prestige skin, maybe that's what they were referring to, and they maybe didn't translate that correctly. So maybe that was what they referred to it, because they were going to have prestige skins, or at least one prestige skin for the 2.5 anniversary, and then they did say in the new year they were going to launch another one. So that's most likely what they were referring to when they said that. Okay. But other than that, here's the October satisfaction survey results. So I wanted to discuss this just a little bit, because I thought it was kind of important. So this is basically saying, like, if you enjoyed the story, and a lot of people, you can see majority-wise, enjoyed the Fated Guest story with Sylvia, right? Okay, so this is my take on this. And they were also discussing this, but I'm not gonna like play the entire live stream for you guys. But Sylvia's story, I believe why a lot of people loved it, and I was saying this too, even when I was making, you know, when I was streaming on my Twitch channel. I was saying that I've noticed a huge, you know, improvement overall with the Fated Guest writing, you know, the storytelling in it, because it actually legit was a VN. I legit felt like I was part of a VN story, and it felt so like immersed into it. Like, I really did feel that way. I would say it started to change back when Elise's Fated Guest interaction was introduced. And I also saw the quality stepped up with, obviously, you know, the spiciness of it, though. But it was more so with the story writing in it. it felt that the relationship between, you know, the diner self insert MC there, right, actually had more of a like, it was more romantic basically. It had more romantic elements added to it, right? And then we went to Wilhelmina's and you saw it develop even further, you know, and then after that it went to Sylvia's, right? And I really did see a big change with that, and I was very, very impressed by that, by the way. And that's why I feel a lot of people loved it, was because it actually was more along those lines of it being a romance and having a self-insert MC. But I'm not going to say that it's just because of that reason alone. Another thing about this is because you got to understand that with a lot of us too, I think time was basically the biggest key with this, because they even said it as well with, like, you know, with time. And I'll go into it and tell you about it as well, what my thoughts on that are. But yeah, so that's why I felt like more people are more inclined for story writing with this nowadays. Stigma of Dreams. Now, with the Stigma of Dreams story, I didn't feel it was bad. I felt like even though it might have felt a little bit slow at the start of it, that's usually how it goes for any story, like in any game, you know? Something has to be developed, you know, or built, as they say, like open world building and even character building, in order for you to see something in the future when they do more with the story. You know what I mean? So they introduced Greta, Darian, and Sonia, along with who they refer to as Mother, right? They introduced Aya, they introduced Tyr, right? So it was just basically telling, just their like, just giving you a little peek into like what was going on the other side of this. It didn't need to include a whole lot of detail. I felt like it was well done for what it was, right? It was a very short story, mind you. It was like about, when I did it, it was like, what, I think it was at an hour, a little over an hour. So it wasn't that long, and it didn't even have a lot of character art with it. It only had like one. So that just showed you that it wasn't supposed to be a huge backstory. It was just supposed to get you into the introduction of who we're going to be facing in the future now, right? That's, you know, the bad guys, basically, like the new set, you know what I mean? So that's basically what that story was supposed to be about, right? And so that's why I wasn't as hyped. At least that's how I saw it as. The Beauty on Duty story, which was basically the summer story, right? That, for me, in my opinion, was supposed to be more of a fun, comedic, you know. That's basically how these are, you know, with summer stories. Even the story pack stories, not story pack, the character pack stories are supposed to be always fun and comedic, right? They're not always supposed to have, you know, too much like drama and stuff like that in it, because it's not the main story. Okay, the main story is very, very different from what you see with these event stories, you know, that are supposed to be for fun, that are supposed to be, you know, you enjoy reading it. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with the Beauty on Duty story. I thought it was funny, especially seeing Mashada, you know, from like the very first summer event, right? And now here she is still, right, along with Terese now, right? You know what I mean? um so next year, I expect to also see, you know, Shada and Teresa make a reappearance, and then they're also gonna have new costumes. So you'll also be seeing, you know, a new lineup, even probably, you know, characters even return, because like this past one, Mikaela returned, um, Eustia returned, Angelica returned. Even though they didn't make, you know, huge appearances, they had like those cameo appearances, you know, but they were still there, right? They were still there. So that's what I mean. I felt like this is the kind of thing they're going for, where it's going to be surrounded with Teresa and Shada. But who knows? They might do, you know, a new costume story for next year. But that's how I'm seeing it as, and I don't mind it. I mean, it's supposed to be for fun, guys. But yeah, as for like the storytelling overall, now the thing with the time, I think if anything, because if we go down here now, what was the reason you didn't view the story? So obviously a huge majority said they plan to read it later. And then you had, I don't usually read the stories, right? And then when you go down here, what was the reason you didn't view the stories, right? It was the lack of time or too busy. haven't started the game yet or just started the game, or language barrier. See, me seeing a lack of time or too busy makes sense. That's what I mean by that. And then even if you go up here, I plan to read it later, meaning that a lot of people don't have the time. And that's why I see in a lot of other games, besides Brown Does 2, and believe me, I've seen so many people, like, when they stream, like, story content. I'm not saying everybody's like this, mind you, okay? I'm not saying everyone's like this, but a great majority of, like, when I go on Twitch and I just, I see, them doing a story on something, I usually always see the skip button be a thing. Like, they just, like, skip, skip, skip. And I don't necessarily think it's because they find the story boring or they find the story not to be, you know what I mean? I think it's just because time is the one thing that a lot of us don't have. You know what I mean? That's the thing. We have all these other responsibilities outside of, gaming and our hobbies, right? And that's mainly the reason why I think that this is why this happens a lot of the time. You know what I mean? I can give you one big example. Like, for example, Star Rail. I know, before I retired from Star Rail, I know the one thing that a lot of people wanted was a skip function. They wanted a skip button, right? And yeah, I mean, the majority of that game is VN. Well, not VN, but it's like, a visual. It's supposed to be a VN, basically. You know, but it's not 2D. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's what I mean. It's the lack of time that we have to do these stories. That's why I always say, these stories should always just be permanently unlocked. You know what I mean? Because then people and newer players, then when they find the time to do them, they can just enjoy the story and read it at their own leisure. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I believe happens majority time wise, is just not enough time for us to do everything that we want to do or get to. That's why I never like limited time things of any sort in any game, because that just forces you into just, grinding something that you don't have to grind for. You can literally just do it in a setting where, you're relaxed and you can just not worry about a time limit. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. So how satisfied are you with the special interactions? Obviously, I knew Sylvia's was going to be up there, and I was correct. Even Teresa's was up there too. However, what they were also saying though in the live stream, that a lot of people didn't think that Teresa's was worth the price for what it offered. They basically expected more of it because it technically was a paid prestige skin along with an interaction scene. And one of the devs said what they could do is they could lower the price. However, if they did that, they would basically just scrap the interaction scene along with it. But they didn't want to do that is because a lot of us do love these interaction scenes, so they scrapped that, But it was a thought they did think about. Thank goodness that they aren't going to scrap them. However, I do see the price reduction actually being a thing, because I say that if you just put it up for a straight up purchase, it would be a lot better. I still always say $30, USD is, in my opinion, a realistic number for it, and players would be more inclined to buy it since it's not like $60, you know what I mean, or more. You know what I'm trying to say? And in that, way of thinking, that you're actually going to be making more money doing it that way, right? I mean, that's how I see it, But yeah. Which updated character skill cutscenes did you enjoy the most? And obviously Sylvia's and Darian's and Tears were up there. Teresa was, in the middle-ish. Rubia's was there too. Now, the reason why Rubia's wasn't as high it's not because she wasn't loved, because Rubia is loved. She is loved a lot. I still remember that live stream that they had introducing her, right? And a lot of players in that chat especially were saying things like they wanted to see more of her butt, right? Because I mean, if you look at all the other costumes skill cutscenes of her, it does show it off a lot, mind you. You know what I mean? So like that's what a lot of players wanted to see more of with Rubia. But yeah, so that's basically what it was voted here. So like that's mostly entirely the update in itself. Okay, if you want to read the rest of this, it is on their, official site in the news. But that's what I wanted to cover and showcase to you guys the future. updates that they'll have even further with another live stream, which I believe is November 17th, I believe they said. It was the 16th or the 17th. It was one of those days. But that is going to be the next live stream events, okay? But if you liked and enjoy the content of what you've seen here so far and are looking forward to a lot of this, which I am, you know, by far am looking forward to, then save up. No, I would say just take time with the story. You know, don't rush it. Don't try to rush things, because then if you rush it, you're not really gonna like feel as immersed in it. That's what I like to tell players, you know, new players that come into my chat as well. You know, don't rush a lot of it. You know what I mean? Despite how you want to get caught up with everybody else, I don't think it's worth rushing through, you know, in anything. But yeah, so that's all I really got to say about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it wasn't as long. Hope you all got a lot out of it. And yeah, I'll be covering future content as always, you guys. I love Brown Dust 2. I still feel that there is improvements that can be made, but I know that the devs are trying. I do see it a lot. So I'm always hyped to see a new update. But with that being said, take care, stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch you all in the next update, which is basically gonna be when Halloween starts. So I'll see you then, and I'll also do my polls too in my video. And I know, right? Granhildr really, she's definitely stepping out of her comfort zone, right? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll catch you in the next. Take care, guys.